Is it live? Hey everyone, welcome to this podcast. In this, we are having Shashank in this to talk about data engineering a little bit. But before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Ayush. I have worked as a data scientist at Artifact, as well as deep learning engineer at Vision NLP. Also worked as a machine learning engineer at Umdena. I'm currently building Anton, where we are building advanced courses on machine learning, data science, and other domains too. So today we are having Shashank Mishra, who is an ex data engineer at Amazon. So let's further call him, and then we will ask him to introduce him because already he does not need any introduction, but we will do ask him about it. Hey Shashank, how are
Hey,
you?
hey, hi Ayush. I'm doing good and really glad to see you again, man. I hope you are also doing great.
Yeah. So it is very great to have you here, and I would ask you to first introduce yourself. Although people know about you because you're now a famous YouTuber in the terms of data engineering. So can you introduce yourself quickly?
Cool. So the audience who is watching me for the very first time, so myself Shashank Mishra, and I am working as a data engineer. So like in November 2021, I left Amazon. Prior to that, work with Opera Solutions and Paytm, McKinsey and Company, and for me, it's been overall 4.5, or you can say approximately 5 years in this industry. And from the very beginning, I'm working in the big data and trying my hands with different use cases, working on some challenging things. And yeah, so far it's good. I have been enjoying big data a lot.
Okay, nice. As I'm talking to ex-Amazonians, so now what I'm going to do now is ask you some set of questions,
Sure,
which is very important. Which one need to start career in data engineering? Uh,
sure.
so the first question is, uh, what does your role as a data engineer involve?
Mhm.
So can you
Cool.
elaborate a little bit?
Yes, sure, I will. And thanks for asking this one because I know a lot of folks are really confused nowadays because in the under the umbrella of big data, right, there are a lot of job profiles,
Yeah,
and that's why even sometimes, especially the fresh grads, used to get confused that what is
yeah,
data engineering. Let's say what is data science, AI, ML, data analyst, business analyst, and many X number of profiles, right?
correct.
And that usually happens because they don't have much clarity about the roles and responsibilities, and sometimes they used to start their career, let's say in data science, because of some random influence. So in
Yeah,
very short sentences, what we as a data engineer used to do, so just I will explain it with the help of the simple
sure,
example. So let's say you're
sure,
working for an company, again, let's say e-commerce platform Amazon. Okay, so on Amazon platform, in a second or even in a minute, there will be millions of transactions are happening across the globe, right? So that transaction,
yeah.
obviously, nowadays everything is data. Every company, every enterprise is using data for their data driven business decision. So that means even
Yeah,
Amazon is also capturing that data and doing some, you can say, analytics on top of it. So we as a data engineer actually work as a frontliner in any of the company if that company is working for the big data solution. So we
mm,
will be the one who will take care of all those things, right? Writing scalable data pipelines, who are handling terabyte petabyte of data, right? Just pulling that data from some point X and putting it into any downstream system. And that process is not very easy. It looks very easy. Okay, somebody's picking data from a source and putting a destination. No, it is all about the engineering level stuff, because you are handling a very big amount of data, and in between you're also applying some transformations and the rules which business teams will provide to us. So that is the overall role and responsibility of the data engineer.
thanks, Shashank. Now, I would have seen the dream that as a data scientist without data engineers, what could I
Yeah,
be?
correct. So they, like other job profiles, has a lot of dependencies on data engineers. So this is a
Yeah,
hierarchy,
correct.
right? It should be followed.
Yeah, correct. So, if anyone want to know more about the guidance, Shashank has a YouTube channel called Learning Bridge. So Shashank,
Yeah.
just 1 minute, just tell about your content, what you develop at Learning Bridge.
Cool. So the idea behind Learning Bridge was to bring more and more people from different backgrounds so that they can understand from their experiences, right? That was the gap I just wanted to fill. So that's why I added that
Okay.
bridge word, right? So that was the main.
Uh,
And also, since
yeah.
I'm a data engineer, I used to post a lot of good stuff regarding the big data, data engineering. So you can hit me up on there and hope it will be useful for you.
Yeah. Thanks. Um, I have another question, which is at Amazon, what's a typical day for you as a data engineer?
Yes. So although yeah, I'm an ex-Amazonian, but still yeah. So talking about a typical day, uh, so see these things actually depends a lot in
Yeah.
a kind of
Correct.
organization you are working. So if you are
Correct.
working in an
Correct.
startups, things will be a bit different. You are working in
Yeah.
consulting and service based firm, this will be a bit different. So
Yeah.
since we have taken the example of well established product based companies like Amazon, so it
Yeah.
starts things starts in a quite managed way, right? A
Yeah.
complete project life cycle actually starts from the sometimes we might be working for the internal teams, right? So for us customer can be in two shapes, right? One can be internal business teams, they are also our customers. Sometimes we are working with the external vendors as well, so they are also our
Yeah.
customers, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I talk about a new project life cycle, that's how things come. They will approach to us, and in between there will be a layer of project managers, technical program managers who will be actually driving the things right from the point
Yeah.
zero. They will
Yeah.
be just collaborating all the things, putting it into let's say well documented form, that what is going to come and what kind of use case we need to solve, what is the requirement from the client, and that once everything is finalized, now that comes to us, right? We as a
Yeah.
core data engineering team, we probably sometimes it's a project which involves at least 2 3 resources, so we work as a team. But if a project which even takes which doesn't require that much level of effort from 2 3 engineers, so even an individual can wrap it up.
Hmm.
So those will be
Yeah.
assigned to us, and then we will start on it brainstorming and understanding the requirement. If there is any kind of information gap, there will be back and forth, right? And once that
Okay.
is finalized, because initial point is really important, you cannot just start with the first version of the documentation, because there will be programming managers and engineers are a bit different. If program managers will try to bring a lot of information which actually they know from the business perspective, but as an engineer I need a lot of information as well from the client to understand how we can solve that problem. So that back and forth will happen, and after that, once everything is finalized, the actual development life cycle begins, like doing the things in the development test environment, stage environment, testing a lot of right use cases, integration testing, functional testing, unit testing. Once that is done, things will move into the production, and we will also give some bandwidth for the project maintenance and project monitoring, right? Let's say today I have productionized something, I cannot say yes, or like I cannot say on tomorrow that yes, now it is finalized, it is in this table. I also need to
Yeah.
monitor, like something shouldn't break in, like let's say in a week or 2 weeks. So that's how
Yeah.
the entire life cycle or day-to-day activities being a data engineer used to do.
Thanks, Asank. Many people have got an idea about what an it depends on organization
Yeah,
actually.
right. That's what I
Uh,
said. Because
but take yeah.
I have worked with most. I would say I have worked with the companies. Let's say Paytm. I when I was working with Paytm, they were following startup kind of culture. So I have seen that kind of environment. I have worked with
Yeah.
McKinsey. They are pure consulting firm, right? World's topmost consulting firm. So I have seen how to actually work as a consultant. Now again,
Mhm.
work in this like product based firm. So good experience. So whatever I have
Correct.
said here, that is based on my experience.
Thanks, Shashank. Many people have got an idea about this. People, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask it. We will take your questions at the end of this podcast. Um, one of the question which I want to ask. Can you tell us about the project which you're working currently, or you have already worked and that excites you a lot, that you have done a very impactful project?
All right. So yeah, currently in my the organization which I have joined, I'm actually working on a really amazing use case, but I don't want to share that. But I will definitely talk about that project, which actually seeked my attention, right? And you can say it inspired me a lot to explore big data to some extent. And that was basically first project which I did as a big data engineer. You can say that was for an aviation sector. It was for a leading US airlines. Okay. So the use case was basically to provide a 360 customer view, right? So that
Okay.
project name was a trip narrative. So
Okay.
these airlines, we know they used to collect all the data, the booking data from the different vendors, different traveling
Mm-hmm.
websites, and entire itinerary. When you actually go to the reception or basically for the check-in part, right? This is one step, right? When let's say you are
Yeah.
traveling in a plane, before just your boarding, right, your seat may get changed, your PNR may get split. So this is a
Yeah.
whole itinerary, right? So the use case was actually to help the service agents of that airline, right, with the complete itinerary of a customer, so that if in future there is any kind of query comes, right, so they can quickly answer by looking at that whole analyzed data, what all things or what all event happened with that particular customer during the journey on some XYZ day, right? So this was a
Yeah.
really interesting use case to solve. We had a very like on daily basis we were processing terabytes of data, right? And logically, like we had to think a lot, because there was some uh, because these kind of use cases are not very easy. Let's say you have two three data sets, you join and you got the answer in a very
Yeah.
straightforward way. You need to think
Yeah.
logically as well if something needs to be connected. And those things, I would say, as a
Correct.
newbie in this big data world, that project gave me a lot of learnings. And even that project is very close to my heart. And somebody, let's say after 5-10 years, if somebody will ask me that would you like to work in the aviation project again, I would definitely go for it. And even the interesting fact, right, uh, I did my first air travel in 2018. Okay.
Okay.
And just because of that project which I was working in 2017, I had so many ideas about the travel, right, air travel, what
Mhm.
actually happens. So you can see, right, the beauty of the big data without even just experiencing that thing physically. You already know a lot of his stuff.
Correct. Correct. And the learning curve is also very high there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Okay, thanks Ashang for this. I got to know more about like how the particular project works, which actually excites you, and actually a real world problem which is solved.
Yeah.
Next question is, which is very famous. Even sometimes, even my DMs comes on LinkedIn like, why do you want to become data engineer? I am a data scientist. But how I can answer that? So can you just go ahead and answer this? Why someone want to
Yeah.
become data engineer?
Yeah, sure. So see, for me, actually, how I started in this big data or data engineering, in my first employer, first 6 months were my internship duration, right? And
Okay.
uh, see, in the college time, I had no clue about the recent trends in the IT. I was just knowing those typical stuff, okay, software engineering, front end, back end, these stuff, right? I was not so
Mhm.
self-aware to explore the things in you can say so extensive way, like nowadays students and like the students like you are doing, right? Even in your college time or in your during your school times, you guys are so self-aware that what are the things going in the IT, and you just followed your passion. So this
Yeah.
thing was not so it didn't happen with me. So in my first company, when I started working with software engineering thing, it was okay for me. I didn't like it that much. Okay. And the good point for me was in my first employer, there were other teams who were working in the big data projects. So one suggestion would be that don't be a kind of introvert guy, right? Always try to get socialized. In that way, you will get to learn from other. And that happened with me on, let's say, cafeteria, and while playing the table tennis, I interacted with those people and came to know about the projects they are working. And that was the first time when I came to know about the big data word. And those terminologies like distributed computation, storage, terabyte, petabyte of data, right? So that actually excited me a lot. And that was the first
Yeah.
time I thought this sounds really cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And also one more important thing, I always prioritize my interest as well. Even in the beginning, right, I mentioned these things. Don't go for any job profile just because of random influence. Try to
Correct.
prioritize your interest whether you are loving it or not.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I had a very soft corner for the programming side, and also building large scale system, right, looking at its back end, how things are actually working. But I was not enjoying that front end and back end API designing a lot. Okay. So I thought,
Hmm.
okay, let me explore what is in the big data. I also checked out data science, I checked out AIML, I checked out data analyst, business analyst, I checked out data engineering. Then I tried to map my interest with a particular job profile, and data engineering was something where I was getting all that kind of stuff which I wanted to do, right?
Okay.
Like building
Nice.
large scale systems, the playing around with
Nice.
the data, programming code. And that's how I started as a data engineer. So that's what I would recommend to each and everyone. Just prioritize your interest. I mean, don't just go with
Makes
random
sense.
influence.
Makes sense. People usually just see, okay, he's on that path or got in Google by learning this, then I should go over here and learn about this. And then
Yeah,
eventually fail because of lack of interest in the area. Because I do have seen people just seeing myself, they just started, okay, let's get started with data science, machine learning.
yeah,
But after some time, they say, okay, I don't have interest in machine learning, I'm not getting it, but actually they
yeah,
are good in web development or other fields. So why to get into this field? The only because the data science jobs will be created more. It's just
yeah,
a hype which was, I think, which is little bit now, but which was which influenced a lot of people, and then
mhm,
people ended up learning about very small things like just writing three lines of code in scikit-learn and then making a model. That's it. No work
yeah,
on data, just load the data, make the model, and make the prediction. Your project is done. That's what
yeah,
it was going on at that point. So you should, as he told, that you should not be influenced by others. You should follow your interest, and if you don't have interest in anything, you should create one interest.
yeah, that's true.
What are some of the, as if someone want to get started with data engineering or yeah, so what is the prerequisite to do before getting started off with data engineering?
All right. So, see, all right. I'll actually talk about 4 or 5 things which are really important. So, first part, which I already mentioned, programming would be important, but the advantage here is that if you are in a big data domain, from your side, companies won't be expecting you to be a pro coder, right? A kind of,
Yeah.
let's say, very damn good coder. No, they actually want you to just be a good problem solver, right? If you are able to code something, right, you are, whatever you know, whatever logic you have, you are able to code it. That's
Hmm.
fine, right? They won't be expecting you to solve, let's say, some very hard level of graph questions or hard level of dynamic programming question, like I'm talking about the SD level.
Yeah.
So that is the
Yeah.
advantage here. So I would say basic medium level understanding of the data structures and algorithms would be really important, right? And as a language, 3 things I would recommend: Python, Java, and Scala. I'm typically talking about the data engineering stuff. So
Yeah.
any of it, if you are good at it, that's like well good. And next part would be your SQL and databases. This is
Yeah.
the, I
Very
would say, the
important.
backbone of entire the big data analytics world,
Correct.
right? Because at the end, data representation is important, and with
Yeah.
the help of that data representation, you can pick those insights which you want to transform on a next level. So
Correct.
SQL, transactional databases, no SQL databases, really important. So 2 things
Hmm.
complete. Third thing is your big data core, right? Understanding of the big data fundamentals, terminologies, these would be really important. And when I talking about fundamentals, terminologies, so you need to cover all the ins and outs, right? Don't just
Yeah.
leave yourself in between. Understand
Hmm.
everything in the big data, what is running, or core concept like batch processing, real time processing, lambda architecture, kappa architecture, and many other stuff. Okay, so this is the entire core of big data. And
Yeah.
fourth thing is the, you can say, the ETL processing, and even in that you can include the data warehousing. Okay, so these two
Yeah.
parts are also very very important. Last, I would say, the match made in heaven, the big data plus cloud. So I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you should definitely know it, right, the cloud
Yeah.
part as a beginner, because these are something which you will experience in the industry in extensive way. But it would be
Yeah.
good because nowadays lots of free courses even are available, and even those cloud providers used to provide some free accounts where you can play around with those cloud services and understand it,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
those things will give you a cutting edge during the shortlisting, and you will actually stand out from other candidates. So I think these were the top 5 things which I would say as a prerequisite for a data engineer.
Yeah, correct. Many I would like to point out some of the things is many people don't focus on their making their base strong. They just
Yeah.
move on advanced thing, and then they don't understand the fundamentals. Company actually require that you should have a base very strong that you can build upon that in very good
Mhm.
way. So I agree with the point on keeping your base very strong at that point, and the backbone of data engineering is SQL. At the
Yeah.
same time, SQL is important for data science or data
Yeah.
scientists or machine learning engineers or data analysts. I do have, in previously I was just thinking, okay, I'll be good with pandas for processing and stuff, but I got to know after going in the company, okay, this is how it
Correct.
works. so another question which I want to ask is, what are some of the famous tools and stacks
Mhm.
that one needs to learn during the learning phase? So when someone is learning, what are some of the cool tools or important
Mhm.
tools which or stacks which one need to learn about that?
All right, cool. So, as I think for the programming side, you guys are clear. I talked about the languages. Okay, if from the database perspective, I mentioned two things: transactional and the NoSQL databases. So, on the transactional side, if you have a good understanding of MySQL and Postgres, well, good, right? In the NoSQL databases, I have mixed feeling for both, right? Open source NoSQL databases plus the NoSQL databases developed by different cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and GCP. And so, talking about the, let's focus on the open source side much. So, Cassandra, HBase, right, and MongoDB. These three things I would definitely recommend
Yeah,
to get understanding of it. Now, talking about the frameworks in the big data core. So, Hadoop is really important. I think everybody
yeah,
knows this was the
yeah,
base, or this was the first thing which came into picture and gave a revolution of to distributed computation and distributed storage, everything.
yeah,
So this is the
yeah,
base. I'm not saying you need to understand how to write typical and that tedious map reduce code in Java. No, understand the fundamental of Hadoop, how this
yeah,
entire map reduce thing works, how the data get stored on the distributed storage, replication, rack awareness, and many other things about the
yeah,
distributed storage. Then for a data engineer, now the thing which is really important and really in demand, that is Apache Spark, right? So a very cool framework to work with. Next thing I would recommend the Apache Hive as well. And now somebody wants to take my suggestion to, let's say, work on the real time streaming pipeline, so you should be good at you can explore Apache Flink, right? This is a upcoming tool which is getting a lot of popularity in coming
mm,
days. And also, when you build the real-time data pipelines, you need a kind of queuing mechanism as well. So
mm,
Kafka, RabbitMQ, Redis, Memcached, these kind of frameworks you also need to explore.
correct.
And talking about the typical ETL frameworks, so in the market we have Informatica. Informatica is something which has gained a lot of popularity. So you can definitely explore the Informatica side. And if somebody wants my opinion that how can I build some cool dashboards, so you can probably explore Tableau, Power BI. These are the two which like companies often look for. And yeah, for the cloud part, there is no recommendation as such. Whatever you like, just try to set up benchmarking, explore AWS, explore Azure as well, explore GCP, what you like, what are the pros and cons, everything. Just make a benchmarking and pick and just go forward to that.
Correct. Yeah. Thanks, Sashank, for answering this. Many people have got an idea what to go for and what to. Okay, so another question, which is, what is the career progression one can expect after one decides to take up data engineering as a profession? So, if someone wants to, someone decided that he will uh, get into data engineering, what he can expect or progress in career.
Mhm.
So, what he can expect
So
in that.
see, my point is your progress will definitely will depend on your continuity as well. Let's say you are in a company, right? Company is giving you a very chill environment. You are enjoying your typical, let's say you are just enjoying writing only SQL, okay, and you are in your comfort zone. Probably you won't grow, right? And that
Yeah,
is irrespective of any job profile. So you have to be
correct.
really active. Uh, you have to be updated, right, with the market standards and the things which are going in the market. So talking
Yeah,
about the progression in the data engineering, there are a lot of things which uh, or there are a lot of interesting things which you can solve, right? Let's say some companies are working on the batch processing, right, and some
hmm,
companies, let's say, are trying to work on the use cases which are for the real time streaming. So
hmm,
always try to figure out where you are feeling saturated and try to come out from that level of like comfort zone and pick a challenging use case. That's how even you will
yeah,
enhance your technical skills, you will enhance your uh, domain skill as well, okay. And
yeah,
that's how you, like, you will keep on jumping on next level as well. So right now I'm actually working as a data engineer 3, which is kind of you can say a lead level role. So data engineer 2, 3, and then there will be lead data engineer, sometimes companies senior data engineer and data engineering manager and so on. So
yeah,
it's not like even 10 years, 20 years you need to like keep on working on the data engineering. Even after, let's say, working on 6, 7, 8 years in the as a data engineer, and you also parallelly exploring the, let's say, data science, and you found it interesting, you can even take a shift from there. And let's say you
correct.
want to move into the management side, right? Probably you can take up the role of technical program manager, and even you can move into the people manager, where, let's say, a manager who is managing the entire team, let's say resource management, hiring everything, getting the requirements, just the complete you can say a single route who is managing everything. So you can move into that direction. So these things will come into
Correct.
picture when you will spend at least 8 to 9 years in the industry, and then you will figure out, okay, what's next and what you gonna enjoy in your next phase.
Correct. And I'm seeing there's a lot of progress which you can develop in data engineering is which I've
Yeah.
seen ever, and people usually get a lot of progress in data engineering. So I think it's
Yeah.
a good career choice. So some one last question is, what are some quick one or two quick tips or tricks which you wanted to give to a particular student to land up
Mhm.
a job
Yeah.
in a big data engineering company.
Cool. So, see, my advice would be again, which I mentioned in the between as well. Please follow your interest. Don't just get influenced by Ayush that he is working as a machine learning engineer, data scientist. I will be also working. No, it shouldn't be like that. Okay. So just figure out your
Yeah.
interest first. And the thing actually, let's say I mentioned about my college time, right, where I wasn't self-aware. So try to be really active, right? You should follow good people, any social media, right? Try to just follow them for their positive things, what they are doing, how they are going, learn from them. Also try to become a part of good tech communities. Nowadays there are a lot of good people who have built really solid tech communities, Discord servers, cohort basis programs. Try to get uh, just try to be in those programs. Probably in first 2 session, 3 session, you won't be able to understand a single thing, but even after 3 4 session you will definitely start you will start picking up those points. So see, understanding those points and picking up the keywords is really important. Let's say you joined a session and you got to know about sklearn, you got to know about pandas. So later what you can do, you can come and just type it on Google and try exploring it. What was that? What the hell Ayush was talking about the pandas? I don't know about it, right? What is the numpy? So just understanding of the keyword is really important, okay. So this is the
Correct.
second thing. And again, please be self-aware and don't feel underconfident. Nowadays industry is just exploding in India. IT industry is exploding, and the big data is something which is the future. Everybody knows big data is the future of tech,
Yeah.
right? Every company is
Yeah.
dependent on that. So as
Yeah.
a fresher, you can definitely target good startups. You can start looking out for good internship opportunities, and slowly, gradually,
Correct.
definitely you will crack some top-notch product-based firms as a data engineer, data scientist, whatever you like.
Okay, thanks. I hope people will utilize these tips and tricks. It's totally based, first of all, identify your interest or prioritize your interest in this and then work on it. It's totally okay if you don't understand it first time. Because if I talk
Yeah,
about one thing, Andrew Nunn, one of the, if you don't understand it, don't worry about it. So it's a good meme which Andrew Nunn has told. If
yeah.
don't worry about it if you don't understand that. So just follow that meme. So that's it. That's the set of questions which are to ask. I'll just take some of the few questions which were very interesting in this, and then we'll go ahead. If you have any questions, guys, please put the comment. I'll just refer that. So roadmap to data engineering. I would like to just tell that yeah, learn Shashank, you can tell about that you have published a video on YouTube channel about this.
So I think we already talked about a roadmap, but you definitely want an extensive roadmap. You can jump onto my YouTube channel. I have created a dedicated video, right, where I have included every single thing, including the frameworks, cloud tech stack,
Yeah.
and you can follow that list. And that is the crisp roadmap for data engineering, because there are a
Yeah.
lot of things need to
Yeah.
I need to explain, and it may take next 10-15 minutes. So just don't want to even give you very minimal information. I want you to get the maximum information, and that's why you can jump onto
Correct.
my channel.
Correct. Correct. I too have seen that roadmap in Whimsical. It was very comprehensive and extensive.
Yeah.
What's the difference between data engineering and data analyst?
Good question. Good question. Finally. So again, so see, this is a very simple advice to each and every one. If you want to understand a role and responsibility of any job profile, how you can do it, a quick hack is just open any, let's say, Amazon, Google, Facebook, their website, click on the career page button, right, and just go there and read
Yeah.
their job description. Okay, you will definitely
Correct.
understand. Even
Correct.
this is the way somebody people find it sometimes people find it really difficult to understand what I need to prepare as a data analyst. I used to
Correct.
recommend this tip, right? Just go there, read
Yeah.
their job description, you will find your
Yeah.
answer, okay, what they are expecting and
Exactly.
what you need to prepare. So this is one
Exactly.
thing. But if you want to understand the data engineer part, I already talked about it as a data engineer, what I used to do. But for a data analyst, I can quickly wrap it up. So you guys will be the one who will actually work closely with the end users as well, because you will be the responsible for creating those super amazing sexy dashboards which will be consumed by the end users, right? And your role is really important, because you know the actual matrices which you need to populate over the dashboards, right? And even you will be working closely with those end users to bring those important information. If as a data engineer we are lacking on something, okay, you will be just you will be pulling those information for us. So your role is very important. Data analyst role is also very important. They are a kind of middleware between the engineering team and the end customer. So they actually cater the actual thing required by the end customers.
Correct. Correct. I have also seen that closely work with business peoples
Yeah,
who take decisions and based on data, A/B testing, and a lots of stuff to take decisions for the particular. Thanks for
right.
answering. Another question. People having some kind of kind of what to choose: Java, Python, or Scala. Which one is
Mhm.
best?
Okay. So see, If you want my recommendation, I would definitely say Python, right? So I will also justify it why Python. Okay,
Yeah.
so Python is something which can even open many doors within the big data part as well. So that's what I was
Yeah.
saying. Let's say you
Yeah.
started with Python. Now, as you know, at least the data science ML engineers, they're heavily dependent on the Python side. They don't actually code in the Java. They don't actually code in the Scala side. So their top
Mm.
priority is the Python as well. But as a data engineer, sometimes uh, you are not actually restricted for the Python, Java, and Scala. But why I'm recommending Python, because it can open many opportunities again, right? If sometimes, let's say after 5 6 years you want to move into data science, you can quickly do it. Because
Yeah.
let's say if in the beginning you were, let's say, working on Scala and Java, and then you are trying to take a move in, let's say, the data science, it would be bit difficult. I'm not saying it is
Yeah.
going to
Correct.
be very hectic. And
Yeah.
also
Correct.
language is something of, you shouldn't bound yourself with the language perspective, right? Just
Correct.
you whenever you will get an opportunity, it will even hardly take 10 15 days to understand how you will code in that specific language. But the understanding of logic building, understanding of that thought process is really important. If somebody asks you to iterate a given list of elements, how would you actually iterate it? So that is the
Yeah.
common problem, and it
Yeah.
is irrespective of Java, Scala, and Python, just
Correct.
a syntax
Correct.
change.
Correct. Correct. Another question which I have is learning Snowflake necessary from Mahesh?
I'm not going to say that it's necessary. It is just a thing which came into the market, right? And again, what my suggestion would be, that build your base first. These are the things which you need to, which you should actually explore in the level 2 or level 3, because
Hmm.
these are something sometimes specific companies are using it, right? Snowflake is something which is not getting used by so many companies nowadays. But yes, it is in the market, it is getting the popularity. But as an understanding perspective, as an exploration, you can definitely understand it. But not as a beginner, right? Just come 1 or 2 level down, build your base, and then on a level 3 level 4 you should explore the Snowflake.
Okay. One of the famous question is is the salary offer same as SDD?
Exactly, it is same. And even we are giving good competition. Sometimes even data engineers are exceeding the SD salaries. I hope I could have revealed my salary, but I can't do that. You can see this smile on my face, and it explains everything.
Correct. Yeah. Famous questions it is.
Yeah.
Some mind question is there. What is required to study in data science? Just a quick thought on this. You can go on New Era and see I have a full comprehensive course on machine learning and all the roadmaps is there. You can go ahead and see that. Um, we have another questions of data engineering. Can you, oh, this is great one. What is the fastest way to learn data engineering and which language is the best? Okay, you language best is
So
you,
yeah,
you told
so
me.
language, yeah, again, I think, yeah, Python would definitely be very easy to learn. You are not concerned about your semicolons, you are not concerned about your curly braces. You can just without even long int, right? And without
Correct,
even declaring
correct,
map and everything, you can just put
correct.
anything in any variable. So as simple
Yeah,
as that, right? So
yeah.
Python is that easy. But fastest way to learn data engineering, again, the your base would be important. And also the question should have been like, how well we can, or basically how we can grow fast in data engineering. Okay, so learning and growing are the two aspects. So learning is something, if you are following a crisp roadmap, or you actually know what you need to cover, right? uh, as a base, so you will be able to learn quickly. And growing, always try to work on different use cases. Do not just restrict yourself on
Hmm.
some corner of big data, or let's say data engineering. What I was talking about, the batch processing, real time processing, even
Hmm.
near
Hmm.
real time data processing is there. So three things: different architectures, different ways of implementation. Let's say there is a use case, you can have let's say 3 4 architectures of that. You can even solve that problem using open source tech stack. You can even solve that problem using a hybrid tech stack, let's say open source plus cloud, and even you can make that solution a pure cloud agnostic. So just think in
Correct.
that perspective and you will learn a lot.
Nice. So I hope, Adil, your question is done. So any further questions which you can ask is either all the questions whichever I'm seeing is already been answered in e-learning bridge YouTube channel regarding data engineering. I do have seen his content, amazing content he has ever developed. If you have any questions, you can just go over LinkedIn and just ping him out. I have also seen some of the data science questions. You can go on New Era, although this is a small YouTube channel, but you can go there and specifically machine learning and deep learning in depth. And also, if you want to take any guidance, please message me on LinkedIn as well. There is Okay, so I don't know if I can take this question or not. Yeah, this is a question: can we get paid course or follow YouTube videos? I'm in final year now. By Rakavendra.
Uh, I would say first try to consume from the free resources, and let's say you are not getting, because see, paid courses has its own advantage, free things
Ah,
has its own advantage. Free
mhm.
thing Advantage of free thing is that it is free. Okay, this is the first advantage, and
Yeah,
the kind of disadvantage. Let's say you are someone who want to understand things practically. Sometimes let's say I'm reading about a definition, or let's say I have seen a YouTube video, but I have, let's say, 10 doubts, 20 doubts. Whom should I ask? And here your paid courses will help, because there you will get some direct mentorship as well. You will get some one-to-one sessions as well, where you can clarify your doubts.
correct,
So that's how you should figure out.
correct, correct.
First obviously, I would definitely recommend you should go ahead with the free stuff first, explore YouTube, different blogs. And after going with that, if you are not able to figure out something, if you have, let's say, 100 to 100 doubts, and you want someone to handhold you for some time, right, not in a long term, then you should definitely go for the paid courses.
Okay, it's in some if we summarize it, it's basically we should first consume it. If you're not
Yeah,
getting it, then go on that. Yeah, correct.
yeah,
So thanks for answering all the questions. If you all have any further questions, you can go ahead on this channel which I'm posting over e-learning bridge, which is by Shashank. He posts very great content. You can just go there, and on his LinkedIn, which will be in the description box. You can just go there and ask the questions from there. Thanks, Shashank, for
awesome.
your valuable time which you have ever given, and I got to learn a lot from you, as always. Thanks a lot for joining this session.
Thank you, Ayush, and I was really glad to interact with you again, and it was really
Yeah,
wonderful session, really wonderful questions from the audience. I hope it will help whosoever is watching this video. So thank you so
yeah.
much.
Okay, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.